One cloudy morning, Peppa Pig's house was cozy and mysterious. Clouds were gathering outside the window and in the living room. The family was sitting around an old trunk that Daddy Pig had found in the basement. Peppa was jumping up and down with curiosity. George was holding his dinosaur, and Mama Pig was wiping the dusty lock of the chest with a cloth. Daddy Pig proudly tapped on the lid and said, "It's a secret chest. I'm sure there's something amazing hidden in it." Peppa immediately perked up. "A secret chest? Is it like a pirate treasure? I want to open it." Mama Pig looked at the castle and smiled. "Dad, are you sure you can open it? He looks very old." And George, hugging the dinosaur to himself, shouted joyfully, "Dinosaur!" "Grr," Peppa laughed, looking at her brother. "George, the trunk is not a dinosaur. Dad, let's see what's inside." Daddy Pig took a screwdriver and started fiddling with the lock. At first, nothing worked. The lock creaked and wouldn't budge, but then there was a loud click, and the lid of the chest opened slightly. Peppa gasped, peering inside. There were old photographs, a worn map, and a small, shiny key. "Wow, these are real treasures," Peppa shouted, grabbing the key. "Grr, the key," George said, holding out his hand. Daddy Pig pulled out a card and said importantly, "It's a treasure map. I am a great adventurer." Pig's mom took one of the photos and was surprised. "Look, this is Daddy Pig as a child. He's sitting on the same chest." Peppa looked at the map. It showed their yard with a cross by an old oak tree. "The treasure is in the courtyard. Let's search." "Stop it!" she shouted, rushing to the door. It hadn't started raining yet, but the air was fresh and humid. Peppa ran to the oak tree. George stomped after her, and Daddy Pig carried the map like a real captain. Mama Pig took a shovel from the barn and said, "If it's a treasure, then we'll dig it up." They stopped at an oak tree. Peppa pointed to the ground under the tree. "There's a cross here. Dig, Dad." Daddy Pig took a shovel and started digging. He puffed, and Peppa and George jumped up and down next to him. Finally, the shovel hit something hard. It was a small tin box covered with rust. Daddy Pig pulled it out and gave it to Peppa. "Open up, Peppa. You found a treasure," he said, wiping the dirt off his hands. Peppa inserted the key into the lock of the box, turned it, and the lid opened. Inside were old candies in bright wrappers, a toy boat, and a note. Mama Pig read the note aloud. "To my little Daddy Pig from Grandma. Hide your treasures and find them when you grow up," laughed Peppa. "Dad, these are your treasures. You hid them when you were little candy," George shouted, looking at the box. Daddy Pig blushed and scratched his head. "I completely forgot about it. I am a great treasure forgetter." Mama Pig took the boat and smiled. "What lovely treasures. Let's get them home before it starts raining." They returned to the living room just in time. The first drops began to patter outside the window. Peppa put the box on the table, and George grabbed one candy. But Mama Pig said, "It's old candy. George, let's bake cookies instead." While the cookies were baking, Peppa was playing with the boat. George was rolling it on the floor, and Daddy Pig was looking at the map. "I like this chest. He keeps secrets," Peppa said, sniffing the cookie-scented air. George agreed, licking his lips. And I think I'm still a great seeker." Papa Pig added, folding the map. All chests are good when they have treasures in them, said Mama Pig, putting a plate of hot biscuits on the table. They were sitting, eating cookies, and laughing. And outside the window, the rain was pounding on the roof, as if rejoicing at their discovery. George and I love trunks, and the keys, and cookies. Everyone loves secrets, Peppa said, jumping up and down. So another amazing day passed at Peppa Pig's house, and the secret chest remained standing in the corner, as if promising new adventures in the future.